Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about sin. What is sin? How does it relate to us on a personal level? You can see, according to the definition that I have up here, that it's an offense against a religious or a moral law. In other words, sin is purely religion-based. That means that they are trying to control you by telling you that anything that you do that is self-reflection, anything that you do in terms of what may be against their religious ideals is a sin. Original sin, they claim that we are born with original sin, passed down from Adam and Eve. I don't understand personally how a baby who has done nothing wrong, who is completely innocent, comes into this world with original sin attached to it. How can the Creator, in all of His divine love and goodness, His, He, She, It, how can they make us be born into original sin? The Creator doesn't do that. Religion does that. Religion says you are born into original sin. Religion says you are sinful, therefore you are guilty, therefore you must obey us. That is all part of the religious paradigm. You cannot possibly be sinful. Everything in all of creation is dualistic. Yin and yang. It's a double-edged sword. There is good and bad that exists everywhere in all things at all times. There is no one way, to be perfectly honest with you. There is no all bad race. There is no all bad religion, because they honestly do have a seed of truth in them. But you have to be able to discern what that little seed of truth is out of all the rest of the fake control mechanism that surrounds it. The best way that you can avoid all the bad that goes along with religion is to get out of religion altogether and come into your own truth. We must come into our own truth. Each one of us has our own path that we need to follow. Each one of us needs to experience everything in creation, in existence, in our own way. That is not to say that it is either good or bad. I strongly suggest that you do some research into the law of one. This was a book that was downloaded through a medium back in the 80s, I believe. And it makes everything very, very clear about how creation works. And they talk about there are only two things in the law of one. And that is service to others and service to self. Now, Magenta Pixie did a very good analogy of what service to self and service to others is. Let's hear what she has to say.
Question 10. What is a service to self structure? impossible to answer this briefly. So what I would say is go to my YouTube channel and have a look through the videos. There are tons and tons of videos where I'm talking about the service to self structure, either as myself or information from the 9. As briefly as possible, one could say an individual has a polarization within them, either positive, which is good, loving, kind, compassionate, or negative, which is self-serving, self-important, feeling that they are better than everyone else and wanting to take from others without having a care for others. Very much a good way to explain it is service to others is I love everyone because I know everyone is me. We are one, we are unified. I love myself, therefore I love everyone else because we're all the same person. Service to self would be, we're all one, I know that. I love myself, and because we're all one, it doesn't matter what happens to anyone else as long as I'm okay, because I am all there is, and I'm the only one. So everyone else is completely irrelevant and not important. The only one who's important is me. Very similar, but vastly different in that perspective. So that's service to self-structure. It encompasses what many know as the deep state, the Illuminati, etc., etc. Vast subject. I've done the best I can briefly.
So there you have it. There are only two kinds of people in the world. People who are service to others and people who are service to self. I have always, for a very long time, believed that there are two different types of people in the world. Those that gyrate toward negative and those that gyrate toward positive. And that again follows in with the dualistic theme that we are all dual in nature. We all have good parts of ourselves, we all have bad parts of ourselves, but which way you gravitate toward at least 51% of the time is what you are basically. Are you service to self or are you service to others? Don't let anybody tell you that you are sinful, because you are not. You are simply experiencing life. You are learning. And that is your whole purpose for being here, to learn, to grow. Unless you're a starseed, many starseeds are here to help raise the vibrations of the consciousness around them, around this planet, around others that live here. Life is so extremely complicated that it's a shame that so many of us walk around with blinders on, not realizing that we're all part of a dog and pony show, that we're all part of a play being played upon the stage, as Shakespeare so eloquently put. But being sinful, that is not a truth. That is not a fact. You are not sinful by nature. You are not sinful from birth. There is no such thing as sin. There are merely different expressions and different vibrations and different distortions. And there is no one that is going to say your vibration, your distortion, even though it may be different from mine, is sinful. There is no way that that should be said or even thought. Creation does not care which way you go, service to others or service to self. Its purpose is not to tell you which way to go. The whole purpose of this 3D reality is that you must choose. It's all about free will. You must choose which way you want to go, service to others or service to self. If you choose service to others, that would be a positive route. If you choose service to self, that would be considered the negative polarization. Is that wrong? No. It is simply your particular soul learning that that's the way through that particular means of method. I will say, however, that if you want to be on an ascension path, meaning that you would like to eventually ascend to a higher density, you will have to eventually come away from the service to self. I would consider it like this. If you choose service to others, you're taking the short route. If you choose service to self, you're taking the roundabout way. It'll take you longer to get there, but you will eventually get there. According to the information I have, people who do service to self are not able to ascend higher than the 5th or 6th density. So they will eventually have to make the choice of service to others if they want to ascend any further. And they don't have to. It's their free will choice. They can decide to stay in lower density and continue their service to self. That's completely up to them. Personally, myself, I gyrate toward the positive. I gyrate toward service to others. For me, how other people feel and what I can do for others is always more important than myself. But I've always been that way since birth. This is not going to be an easy path to make these decisions. I grew up in a very strong Christian faith. I had countless Bible studies and was thoroughly convinced that I was sinful and was going to go to hell. Because I was divorced, and according to religion, that's a sin. So I had a long, hard fight to get to this point where I realized that I needed to come out of religion and that I needed to see creation for what it truly is. And even when I was beginning to wake up, I would still relapse occasionally back into the old religious paradigm. So it's not going to be easy. It is a struggle. It is a free will choice that we all have to make on our own. Every soul has its own path that it has to follow. But the one thing that you need to know that is going to help you with your path and with your choices is that there is no such thing as sin. Do not be guilty for anything that you experience in life. That's what this 3D is all about. It is all about experiencing and learning and making your free will choice. As always, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If anything I say resonates with you and you would like to see more videos, please subscribe. And do know that I make these videos mostly for my family to help point them in the way, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, etc. But I'm hoping to help anybody else that is also truly searching. So with that, have a really great day. And remember, you are not sinful. You are not bad. You are simply experiencing. And knowing that will help you forgive, and forgiveness is paramount. Have a great day.